Arch Manning has been deemed a first overall pick before he's even stepped on the field. We break down why he actually could live up to that hype. Ryan, there's been a lot of hyperbole when talking about Arch Manning, but am I crazy in saying that it's kind of warranted when you actually watch him play?
I mean, from a physical tools perspective, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, Joe, what is summer scouting? Summer scouting is evaluating tools and projecting forward. Like, that is what summer scouting is, ultimately. And Arch Manning is 6'4", 220 pounds, very good runner, has a strong arm, and that throws an incredible deep ball, like some incredible touch that's on his film. So, no, it's not hyperbolic at all to get excited about the upside of him. There is an overall question of just where he fits ultimately in the 2026 class. But overall, this kid is a very gifted quarterback. And there was a reason that he was a 5-star and so well thought of coming out of high school.
Right. It's kind of funny to look back at a lot of the speculation of if his name was Arch Smith, would he have been one of the top quarterback recruits? The justification.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Right.
Yes.
The answer was he deserved to have been in that consideration, and he deserves, whenever he does declare for the NFL draft, to be a first overall pick. All the tools that you just described there, they're unbelievable. Mm-hmm. He is able to, there's some throws, it's just so natural for him. That's why he's been hyped up this much. He's natural because it runs in his family. He's been around football for so long. You can see the bones of a prospect that can go on to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. But we got to talk about here, he's only played 2 games as a starter in this past year in 2024. Those 2 games as a starter, a lot of issues, a lot of mistakes, a lot of risks that he takes that do not pan out that led to turnovers. I think for that reason alone, he's not going to declare for this 2026 draft class. There are not enough guys that have enough of a sample size that have only started for 1 full season that have gone on to declare and be successful. That list is very, very weak, and it should be a clear indication that Arch is probably going to stick around for multiple years instead of joining this 2026 class.
Well, him and his family have been very open about the prospects of playing NFL football for Arch, and the conversation is centered around not wanting to be a 1-year starter and also wanting to graduate, right? Like, the Mannings have all graduated. Like, that's been a thing that is very important to that family overall. So yes, unless barring some crazy season where he is the foregone conclusion #1 overall draft pick and it's the right situation, it's the right team picking up top, I don't anticipate him declaring either. Like, I do think this is more of a 2027 NFL draft pick, but anything is possible, Joe. We know things that can obviously change. I expect him to have a huge season with Coach Sarkisian as the full-time starter, and I'm excited to just see what kind of jump that he makes in his first year as a starter.
I kind of compare it to when Drake May was showing some really just amazing things at UNC in his first year as a starter. I don't believe he would have been eligible to have declared after his first season as a starter, but he still needed time to go from being promising and exciting to the surefire top 5 pick that he was and has already shown so many bright spots with the New England Patriots. I think that for Arch's case, we know that he's gifted. He's going to get to start the full year with a loaded roster around him. And he's going to get the opportunity to improve and to get better and to be tested by premier matchups against the best teams in the SEC. I think that riskiness that he's shown on film, where he's just throwing the ball into really tight covered areas, that stuff is going to get worked out. I don't believe that it makes sense. There's just so few guys that have such a big jump in their first year as a starter that they're worthy of that consideration to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I look, whether he will be or won't be, the question is if it is best for his long term. And I think that the Mannings are very, like, that matters to them, right? Like, the long-term outlook versus the short-term gratification. So I do think that is a conversation that we'll continue to have. But I would say this, Joe, is that this kid, I think, is the perfect blend of physical and mental traits. And the things that you're seeing on film that are the worries are just simply he hasn't played enough football. Like, he needs to play more football. He needs more live bullets. He needs to be able to see things, different variations of coverages. The great thing, though, is that you hear Peyton Manning talk about Arch this offseason. I think when he was on like Bussin' with the Boys, he talked about the fact that after games, Arch is calling him, and after practices, Arch is calling him and asking him about the details on 2-minute drills and how to set protections and like all that type of stuff. The fact that he has that wealth of knowledge on his back end on top of being Cooper's son and not Peyton's son and not Eli's son, which means that he's a better athlete than either of the two great quarterbacks. This kid has everything that you need from a mental and physical side. It's just ultimately now about playing football in 2025.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing this upcoming year, and the buzz is certainly going to build. We are in the camp that we believe that Arch will live up to it. Comment below if you believe that Arch Manning will play to his potential. Hit that like button and subscribe. We'll be back with more.